Good afternoon. My name is Janelle Bean, and I will be doing the Freedom Middle School data overview of Georgia Milestones English Language Arts section. This overview is for Freedom Middle School's data team and the English Language Arts department. The purpose is to analyze the state accountability assessment data from the Georgia Milestones end of grade assessment on the English Language Arts section. It is also to help note our strengths and weaknesses and to determine where we can make improvements in instructional and learning strategies. We will focus on the GMAPS English Language Arts data specifically for 8th grade throughout the 2017 to 18, 2016 to 17, and 2015 to 16 school year. Some questions to think about as we go through this overview are: what are our students' strengths and weaknesses in writing skills and reading comprehension? How can we as teachers create a meaningful learning experience to further the success of our students? And what short-term data can we use to better inform changes in our ELA curriculum? Some district demographics. As a reminder, there are 7 middle schools in Cherokee County. Freedom has the least amount of students with 1,170 students. The district enrollment for just 8th grade students, you'll note that we don't have the least amount of 8th graders. We are second to last. Woodstock actually has the least amount of students. So here are some Freedom Middle School demographics. Across the 3 years from 2015 to 2017 school years, our population has decreased from 2015 to 16. And then it increased significantly to 1,170 students in 2017-18 school year. Our enrollment by gender for all students in 2015 to 16, we had about a 2% difference. There were more females than there were males. But from 16 to 17, you'll note that we had the same population for females and males at Freedom. The percentage of students that receive services from 2015 to 16, there was 4.2%. From 2016 to 17, there were 11.6% of students. And from 2017 to 18, it was 10.8%. So there's been a slow decrease of students with disabilities at Freedom. Our students that are eligible for free and reduced meals for all students at Freedom, from 2015 to 2017, there has been an increase. So there was a 1% increase from 15 to 16, and from 16 to 17, there was a 3% increase for our population. The race and ethnicity percentages of all students for Freedom, you'll notice we have pretty much the same multiracial population from 15 to 16, but from 16 to 17, there was an increase of 1%. Our white population stayed relatively the same from 15 to 16, but decreased from 16 to 17 by 4%. We didn't have enough students to designate a percentage of Native American or Alaskan natives. I think there was a total of maybe just 2 students throughout all 3 years. Of our Hispanic population in 2015, there was 9%. It increased to 10% in 2016 and increased to 12% in 2017. So there's been a 3% increase from 2015 to 2017. Our Black population has increased by 1%. From 2015 to 2017, and our Asian population has actually decreased by 1% from 2015 to 2017. Our attendance for all students at Freedom, so depending on if they missed 5 or fewer days, 6 to 15, or more than 15 days, or if they were chronically absent, missing beyond 15 days. Right? So if you'll notice here, first is our 2017 to 18 year. We had 49%, then we had 56%, and then we had 62%. So there's been a slight decrease of our total number of students that have been attending school on a regular basis, missing 5 or fewer days. There has been an increase of students that are missing 6 to 15 days, as well as more than 15 days, there's been an increase of students. So this is not good. We know that attendance affects our students' performance because if they're not at school, they're not getting the information that they need. And chronic absenteeism has become an issue with our students. In the previous years, 2015 to 2016, there was minimal students that were missing or none at all, but it jumped to 7%. So we need to figure out how to decrease this and increase our attendance. Here is some specifics about the most recent years since we have had some chronic absenteeism percentage increase for our race and ethnicity. This is a breakdown of attendance by race and ethnicity. If you'll note, we have large percentage of students who are at school missing 5 or fewer days for each of our ethnicities that are represented at Freedom. The least amount of students that are labeled here are the white students at 45%. Then we have the Hispanic, and then multiracial, Black, and then Asian. And if you'll note, our Native and Alaskan percent, there's only 2 students. So we have a consistent amount of students, if you'll note down here on the chronic absenteeism. Each race there's a population, a percentage of students that are missing beyond 15 days, which is not okay. If you'll note, more than 15 days absent is also a large percentage of our students. So we need to figure out and brainstorm ways of how to increase our attendance. All right, so let's review Georgia Milestones English Language Arts Assessment for Freedom Middle School for the 8th grade. So to review what the Georgia Milestones End of Grade Assessment does is it measures the proficiency of students in all 4 core subjects, especially for 8th grade, English Language Arts, Science, Social Studies, and Mathematics. And what this is showing is that they are ready for the next grade levels course and that they are on track for college and career readiness. So if you'll note that there are 4 proficiency levels, there's beginning, developing, proficient, and distinguished. And for English language arts, here are the specifics, and this is targeted towards the parents. So this informs you on where your child is and what they are expected to know if they are designated this proficiency level. So we want our students to, of course, be in the proficient area and especially in the distinguished, but mostly in the proficient. If they're in the distinguished, then they are super ready for their following course. So just as a reminder, here are the numbers as far as the total enrollment for 8th grade at Freedom Middle School. So in the past, in 2015 to 16, we were at 389 students just for the 8th grade. In 2016 to 17, we were at 369. And last year, we were at 422 students in the 8th grade. So in all 3 years, these are the proficiency levels for the Georgia Milestones English Language Arts section just for 8th grade. So if you'll notice in the most recent year, we had 7% in beginning, 26% in developing, 52 in proficient, and 16 in distinguished. Notice the across the board here in the distinguished, we have the same percentage in the previous year. We had a lower percentage in 2015 to 16 with only 9%. In the proficiency level, we had 48%, and it slightly increased from 2015 to 16, decreased by 1% in 2016 to 17. In the developing, we had fewer from 2015 to 2016 and 17 school years. Notice that it has slightly decreased. and the beginning school year, or I'm sorry, the beginning proficiency level has also fluctuated. It decreased significantly from the 2015-16 school year to 4% in the following year, and then it increased again in 2017-18 to 7%. So we're doing relatively well. We're seeing a lot of students growing and moving from the beginning to the developing and then developing to proficient and proficient to distinguished. So we're seeing quite a bit of growth from the lower proficiency levels. This is how we are versus the district and the state. We are doing relatively well with our percentage of students that are in each proficiency level. If you'll notice in the beginning, 7% of our students are in the beginning proficiency level, 19% in the district, and 28% in the state. And that's pretty much the same story. So we have a small percentage compared to the district and the state. If you'll notice, we have quite a difference here in the proficient. 52% of our students at Freedom are proficient versus 39% in the district and 31% in the state. And then we also have a good percentage difference between the state and district and the distinguished. So only a 4% difference here and 7% difference here. And once again, this was just for the 8th grade, so not the entire school. And then that information is here in a bar graph for you, just so that you can once again see the main differences. So the summary of this data overview, our strengths are definitely within our proficient and distinguished learner percentages, keeping up our instructional and teaching strategies that are helping our students maintain their proficiency levels. One of the main weaknesses we have is in attendance. We need to find and brainstorm ways that we can keep our students at school. And some questions to kind of take away with you are, how can you use the data from this overview to inform you on improving our students' learning experience? What are some ways we can continue to improve our students' reading comprehension and writing skills? And what learning and teaching strategies are you using currently that can aid in our students' continued success? I hope you've gained some information from this data overview, and I thank you for listening on.